I never expected my life to fall apart over a dinner table. But that is exactly what happened the night my sister stood up during Thanksgiving and announced something that felt like a punch straight to my chest. I can still hear the clatter of forks dropping, the room going silent, and her voice slicing through the air like she enjoyed every second of it. But let me start at the beginning. My name is Claire. I am 32. I work as a nurse at a community hospital. My parents raised me on simple values. Kindness. Hard work. Always show up for family. And I believed in all of it. I believed in my older sister too. Emily. Elegant. Confident. The kind of person who knows how to walk into a room and make it hers. The golden child of the family. I never competed with her. I just assumed she loved me in her own way. But I was wrong. So wrong. For months leading up to that Thanksgiving dinner, I noticed small things. My parents avoiding certain conversations with me. Emily visiting them more often. Papers spread on the dining table when she thought I wasn't looking. Whispered phone calls. When I asked if something was going on, my mom smiled and said everything was fine. My dad hugged me like he wanted to say something but couldn't. I should have trusted my gut. The storm hit on Thanksgiving night. My parents invited both of us to dinner like they always did. The house smelled like roasted turkey and cinnamon. Soft jazz played from the speaker. For a moment I thought maybe the uneasiness was all in my head. Then halfway through dinner Emily cleared her throat. She tapped her spoon on the glass and smiled like she was the bride at her own wedding. She stood up and placed her hand dramatically on my mom's shoulder. She said, "Mom and Dad have decided something important. And I want to share it with the family." My stomach tightened. My dad looked down at his plate. My mom squeezed her napkin. Emily lifted her chin. "Mom and Dad are signing the house to me. All of it. I will be the sole owner. Claire gets nothing." My heart stopped. I whispered, "What are you talking about?" She shrugged like the answer was obvious. "You don't need it." "I do. I have a future to secure. You already have a job. You can rent somewhere else." Rent. Somewhere else. The house I grew up in. The house where I took my first steps. Where I bandaged my dad's hands after he fell fixing the fence. Where we celebrated birthdays. Fought. Laughed. Lived. I felt something inside me break. I turned to my parents. "Is this true?" My mom looked at Emily first. Then at me. She said, "We thought it would be best. Emily is the older one. And she has been helping us with paperwork. She said this decision made sense." My dad added quietly, "We don't want any fighting." I stared at them. Fighting. That was their fear. Not fairness. Not truth. Fighting. My voice cracked. "You didn't even talk to me. You didn't ask what I thought. You just decided behind my back." Emily smirked. "I mean, someone had to take responsibility for this place. You're too emotional for real decisions." My hands were shaking under the table. I stood up. My chair screeched on the floor. I said nothing more. I just walked out into the cold air. I heard my mom call my name, but I ignored her. My world had tilted on its axis and I couldn't breathe. For the next few days I cried until my eyes swelled. I felt betrayed not just by my sister but by my own parents. I couldn't focus at work. I kept replaying that moment over and over. But grief slowly turned into something sharper. Something steadier. Revenge. Not the ugly kind. Not the kind that destroys everyone. The kind that reveals truth. Because something about Emily's announcement didn't feel right. My parents were not cruel. Confused sometimes, yes. But not cruel. I decided to find out the truth. I started by visiting the neighbor next door, Mrs. Hale. She had lived beside my parents for 20 years. She hugged me and said, "Your sister has been coming here almost every week." "Do you know why?" I asked. She hesitated. "I don't want to get involved, but she talks loudly on her phone sometimes. She mentioned something about refinancing and selling. Something about cashing out quickly." My heart dropped. Selling. Not keeping. Selling. I thanked her and left. Next I called our family lawyer, Mr. Benson. He loved my parents like his own children. When I asked if he knew anything about the house transfer, he paused. He said, "I can't discuss client details without permission. But I will say this. You should talk to your parents again. Something isn't adding up." He was trying to tell me something without breaking the rules. That was enough. I went back to my parents' house a week later. My dad opened the door and looked surprised. My mom looked guilty. I said, "We need to talk." All three of us. We sat in the living room. The same room where we used to watch movies when I was little. I took a deep breath. "Did Emily tell you she plans to sell the house?" My mom blinked. "Sell?" My dad frowned. "She said she was going to take care of it, not sell it." I pulled out a recording. It was from a voicemail Emily accidentally left me years ago when we had a small fight. I had forgotten it existed until recently. She was ranting to someone about how she'd always get what she wanted because she knew how to manipulate our parents. I pressed play. My parents listened silently. My mom's face turned pale. My dad shook his head in disbelief. "This is who you are trusting," I said. "Your house isn't a gift to her. It's a payday." My mom whispered, "I didn't know. She said you weren't interested." My dad added, "She said you told her you were planning to move to another city." I stared at them. "I never said that." They looked devastated. The next day they called Emily over without telling her why. I stayed upstairs, but I could hear everything from the staircase. My mom asked Emily, "Did you tell us the truth about your intentions with the house?" Emily scoffed. "Of course." My dad said, "Are you planning to sell it?" She snapped, "What does it matter? It's mine." My mom asked again, "So you are selling it?" Emily lost her temper. "Yes. I already talked to a buyer. You two don't need this house. You're old. You can live in a smaller place." My mom gasped. My dad stood up. "Get out," he said. "What?" she yelled. "Get out of this house," he repeated. "Now." Emily stormed out, cursing under her breath. She didn't see me watching from the stairs. When the door slammed, my mom burst into tears. They apologized to me 100 times that night. They were ashamed, embarrassed, angry at themselves for being manipulated. I hugged them and said, "I just wanted the truth." A week later they went to the lawyer and redid the papers. The house went into a trust. Not mine. Not Emily's. A family trust that no one could sell. Not without all three signatures. A month passed before Emily reached out. She called me crying, asking why I had turned our parents against her. I said calmly, "I didn't turn anyone. You did that yourself." She screamed, "You stole everything from me." I answered, "I didn't steal anything. I saved what was already ours." She hung up and we haven't spoken since. But the story doesn't end there. Last week I went to visit my parents. My dad asked me to help clean out the attic. While sorting through boxes, he found a small metal tin filled with old family photos. Inside was a sealed envelope. It was addressed to me. The handwriting was my grandmother's. I opened it slowly. Inside was a letter. My grandmother wrote that she had always known Emily had a sharp mind but a dangerous hunger for control. She wrote that she saw something in me that balanced the family. A steadiness. A kindness that could protect the people I loved even when it hurt. But then I found something else in the envelope. A key. A small brass key attached to a note. The note said, "This key belongs to the safe deposit box. Whatever is inside is for Claire. Not to be shared. Not to be announced. Not to be debated." I froze. My dad looked surprised. My mom covered her mouth. We went to the bank the next day. Inside the box was another letter and a property deed. Not to the house we lived in. A deed to a cabin by the lake. A beautiful one I used to visit with my grandmother when I was little. Paid off. Fully mine. My grandmother wrote, "I leave this to you because you are the one who knows the value of a home, not the price of it." I sat there in the quiet room and cried. My revenge had never been about winning. It had been about truth. And now the truth had come full circle. My grandmother saw the future before any of us did. And the twist that still makes me smile is this. Emily tried to steal the house. But I ended up with the home that truly mattered. The place where I had always felt safe. The place she never even knew existed. She tried to take everything from me, but she never knew my grandmother had already left me the one thing she could never steal.